Hello and welcome. My name is Tapir Marini, and today I'm going to show you how to set up a data science Docker container using the Qnap container station. Now, my primary goal behind this is to try and give you an overview on how to set up a data science notebook on a Qnap. More importantly, how to set up a container in container station. My secondary goal behind this is to show you an alternative way to maximize on resources you may have on a Qnap that you may have sitting around or may not use specifically for this kind of purpose. Now, just to illustrate a little more on this. Personally, I have a Qnap that runs 24/7 and readily available from anywhere I am. So what I do is I set up my Qnap to serve out this data science Docker installation. And what this gives me access to is I can access my data science environment remotely off my phone, my tablet, a Chromebook, or whatever other environments out there. The last thing is, this also saves me from having to install the same environment in multiple locations, be it my desktop, be it my laptop, or be it any other machine that I might have out there. Okay, what to expect while we're running through this? Firstly, we're going to be search for the Docker images off Container Station. They do provide a very easy way of searching for different Docker images or Alexi images. So this makes it very easy when it comes to setting up. We're going to go ahead and create the container. Once we create the container, or at least while we're setting up the container, we will link a shared folder to this. In this case, what we're going to try and do is we're going to share data with the container from some external source. Now, let's start with the shared folder because this is what we'll need to set up first. For one, the reason we need this is we're trying to get easy access to our data files. Now, given how Docker is amazing in the sense that you can share system resources, etc. You can spin up more and more containers for less and less resources as things are shared and a little more efficient than running, say, a traditional virtual machine. We need a way to bridge the data that we have externally, at least find a way of persisting that, so that whenever if the container changes or we need to drop and recreate the container, we can always come back to it and recreate that. Okay, so here I'm gonna set up the shared folder. So the very first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna log into my NAS. Once I log into my NAS, I'm gonna access File Station, which is located right here on my desktop. From here, I already have a few shared paths already set up. So here I have containers, my NAS one is shared, containers, and then mount is where I'm gonna keep everything. And then from here, I'm going to create a new folder, which I'm going to call Jupyter. So this Jupyter here is the folder that's essentially going to be mounted to the actual container. And the reason we have this is if we have any data files or anything included in that, we can just drop them in here and we can go from there. Okay, so now that the folder is created, we can proceed on to the next phase. Once we create a shared folder, the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to create the container. The specific Docker image we'll be using is a Jupyter Data Science Notebook. Now, the first two, the command and the entry point, which are not necessarily necessary, but in case there are any issues setting this up later and you have to set these manually, this is where to find them, being the start notebook.sh, which is a command we'll use to start up the notebook for the container, and the entry point for that. Then this specific folder for this specific Jupyter notebook is where we're going to mount it. The home Joven is where the home folder is for the entire Jupyter workspace, and the Jupyter is a mounted folder, at least in this case. Okay, so now moving on to creating the actual container. So we'll open up Container Station. And from here, as you can see, there are no containers just yet. So going into the containers, there's a whole bunch of different containers that we can select. I'm going to search for data science in this case, in which case we should get the Jupyter notebook, as you can see. I'm going to click on create. Now the command and the entry point, as mentioned before, may or may not exist, but if they don't, you can create them as is. Clicking on advanced settings, we can mount the shared folder that we created from before, in which case I'm going to go to my NAS1. And from NAS1, I'm going to go to Containers, and under Containers, I'm going to go to Mounts, and then select the folder I would like to mount. And the specific mount point in this case, which is the folder we mentioned before, I'm giving read and write permissions. And then beyond this, there's other advanced settings that we could put in, like the links, the environment, the network, and the device. These all serve different purposes and can be used for different things. And from here, once I've clicked on create, I can see that the container has been successfully created. Now from here, I can see that the URL, the specific URL where it's pointing to, and I can see under the console the various logs that I have. Now inside of the console, this is an important point. We can see the specific token or password that we can use to log in with. And as you can see, I'm going to highlight that from the screen, and I have a specific token that I can use. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. Once I copy this, I'm going to go ahead and open up a browser. And from the browser, I'm going to paste through the token that I just copied through. And once I log in, I'll see the mounted folder Jupyter, which I created from before, along with the work folder. So clicking on Jupyter, which is the mounted drive, there was a test file from before. And clicking on new, we can see that we can create different kinds of files. We can create a Python file, a Julia file, and an R file. I'm going to create a Python file in this case, and I'm going to start off by printing off a basic hello world. As you can see, it's printing out well. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to import a few Python-based libraries just so we can test out if the functionality is working as expected. So I'm going to start off by importing NumPy, and I'm also going to import the random number generator randn from NumPy as well. So once I import that, what I'm actually going to do here is I'm actually going to go ahead and create an array using NumPy. And as you can see, the array is created successfully. And I'm going to create another random number using the random number generator. And as you can see, that is also created as expected. Alright, so thank you for joining me today. I hope you learned something from this. So feel free to leave any comments down below. Till next time, y'all. Have a good one.